Good morning, Year 2. It's Mr. Barker here again today to help you with today's English lesson, which is going to be all about writing a blurb. Now, over the past 2 weeks, we've been writing our information text about how to be healthy, and we've wrote our piece of writing on a balanced diet and about exercising and about why we need to brush our teeth. So today we're going to finish our piece of writing by writing the back of the book, which is the blurb. Now, the blurb is used so that the reader can pick up the book, turn straight to the back and find out a bit of information about what the book is about. So what I've done is I've put 3 books on my table, 2 Julie Donaldson stories and our story from yesterday, The Way Back Home. And I'm just going to show you 3 of the blurbs from the books. Now these are a little bit different because these are fiction books, which are stories, and not non-fiction, which are facts like our books. Unfortunately, I don't have any non-fiction children's books at home to help us with this. So we're just going to have a little look at the ones that we've got. So the first one is a story called Rosie's Hat. And on the back it says, one little girl, one smart hat, a sudden gust of wind, and we're off on a whole hatful of adventures. Okay? The second story I've got today is another Julie Donaldson story, and that's The Snail and the Whale. So this is the blurb for The Snail and the Whale. It says, a snail hitches a ride with a whale, and they head off to see the world. But disaster strikes when the whale is beached in a bay. Can the tiny snail think of a plan big enough to save him? Okay. And the last book, The Way Back Home by Oliver Jeffers, says, once there was a boy who one day found himself stuck on the moon, and he was not alone. So the job of the blurb is to try and make the reader interested in finding out more about the book, and so that they'll want to buy it. Now what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to pause the video, and in your homework book I'd like you to write today's date, Wednesday the 30th of September, today's learning outcome. I can write interesting sentences, and then just a little heading for our piece of writing, how to be healthy blurb. So if you pause the video now and you write that, okay, you should have all wrote the date, the learning outcome, and the how to be healthy blurb. Now what I've done just to make my sentences a little bit interesting today, I've made sure I've loaded up yesterday's writing frame. So I've got our exercising writing frame from yesterday just to make my writing a little bit more interesting. So I can still pick out some of the openers, I can pick out some of the useful words like healthy, and maybe some of the conjunctions too. Now, because we're talking about how to be healthy and we want to make sure it's interesting, we're not going to give too much of our information about why we need to be healthy in the blurb, because we want our reader to open our book and find out more. So what we're going to start with, I think, is something like did you know, but we're going to change did to do. Okay, so I'm going to get my pen, I'm going to start recording it. So do you know how to be healthy? Okay, just remember, if we start with do you know, do is a question word, so we need a question mark. Now I've started with do you know how to be healthy, so that's asking my readers, my audience, if they know how to be healthy, so that if they don't know, then they can start to think, how am I going to find out? So I'll follow that up with my second sentence. This book will tell you everything you need to know to stay healthy. So we just told the reader that if they didn't know how to be healthy, then in this book we're going to show them how. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to tell the reader a little bit about what our book's going to contain. So we had 3 areas, which was our balanced diet, how to brush your teeth, and all about exercise. So you can see inside this book, you will learn why we need to exercise. Now I'm going to start listing the different things from the book. So when we start lists, just remember we need a comma. So like I said yesterday, commas are like a worm with a little head poking through the ground and a little tail underneath, okay? So inside this book, you will learn why we need to exercise, brush our teeth every day. Now just remember, our is our, not our teeth, okay? That's something you get confused with. So we need to brush our teeth every day. And because we're coming to the last of our list, the last part that we wrote about, and why we need a balanced diet. Okay, there we go. So that is just a short blurb about my book. So I've used, do you know how to be healthy? So I've got a question sentence straight away. This book will tell you everything you need to know to stay healthy. Inside this book, you'll learn why we need to exercise, brush our teeth every day, and why we need a balanced diet. I might write one final sentence after reading this book. You'll know everything you need to know. Need to know about how to keep healthy, fit, and strong. Okay, and there we are. That's today's work on how to be healthy. So I'd like you to not copy mine, but give it a go yourself. Try and use yesterday's word maths for any keywords like healthy and exercise, and for any other words like balance and diet. You can pause this video at any point and just copy the words from mine. Okay, I look forward to seeing what you can do.